One cold, gray Saturday, as a lazy wind slipped through the cracks in our garage door, I found myself knee-deep in the kind of mess that only accumulates after years of neglect. Dust-choked boxes, rusting tools, and half-empty paint cans formed a chaotic landscape. It was while shifting an old camping chair, untouched since our last wilderness trip, that I saw it, an old suitcase buried in the corner like a secret someone had tried to forget. Its once black leather was faded to a dull charcoal, cloaked in a thick layer of dust and time. But it wasn't the dust that stirred something inside me, it was the padlock. A small, tarnished brass thing that had no business guarding an old travel bag. Felt oddly intentional, like someone wanted this forgotten item to stay locked away forever. That lock whispered of secrets, not the innocent kind but those that change everything when exposed. I could have left it there, turned away, chalked it up to curiosity not worth feeding. But something in me, maybe suspicion, maybe instinct, pulled me in. With bolt cutters in hand, I snapped it open, a sharp metallic crack shattering the silence. Inside lay a crimson passport, its name unfamiliar. A birth certificate that belonged to someone I had never heard of. And then a note, a cryptic slip of paper marked with a P.O. box number. Beneath it all, a phone. Old. Silent. Heavy with implication. I carried it inside like it was an artifact from a past life, one that had been carefully hidden from me. Plugging it in felt like opening Pandora's box. The screen flickered, then glowed. What followed wasn't just a surprise, it was a reckoning. Hundreds of photos. Videos. None of which included me. Instead, there was him. Over and over, the same smug tilt of the mouth, that confident posture, and always her beside him. His arm draped around her waist in hotel rooms I'd never seen. Her expression was soft but shadowed, a look I once mistook for exhaustion after long days. But now, in this brutal light, I saw it clearly, guilt. She wasn't tired. She was torn. She had been living a second life. Not in fantasy, but in parallel, full, thriving, and hidden. And me? I had been her audience, her prop, her placeholder. A decade of shared memories, morning coffees in the same chipped mug, lazy Sunday crossword puzzles, private jokes exchanged with glances across crowded rooms, all of it just scenery for her performance. I remembered how she used to run her fingers through my hair and whisper, "You're my haven." Back then, I believed it. I clung to it. But now, those words echoed like lines from a well-rehearsed script. I didn't confront her that night. You don't shout when you've been outplayed, you plan. Quietly. Thoroughly. First came the details. Combed through every image, mapped the dates, decoded locations. I focused on the man. A mole beneath his right, I made him distinct, unmistakable. I started with the P.O. box, the one she visited every Wednesday. She told me those afternoons were for therapy. That lie stung worse than most. One week, I parked a few streets away and waited. She emerged with a letter clutched in her hand, the handwriting unfamiliar, bold, masculine, intimate. I hired a private investigator. A retired federal agent, discreet and meticulous. Within 4 days, I had a name, Marcus Vane. 3 failed marriages. No steady employment. Lived in a luxury loft downtown. He had no digital footprint, a ghost in the modern world. But secrets? He had plenty. Including mine. Including her. She had been dividing her life like acts in a play, wife in one, mistress in another, never allowing the audiences to meet. She was good at it. Too good. But not perfect. I turned my attention fully to her, watched how her voice tightened before she answered simple questions, how she gripped her phone like it tethered her to something vital. Book club nights became routine, but receipts never followed. I installed cameras, quiet ones. Synced alerts to every transaction on our shared account. Installed tracking on her phone. She never suspected a thing. That was her fatal flaw. She thought I loved her too much to see clearly. For 2 months, I gathered proof. Voice recordings. Screenshots. Surveillance. Her tone when she said his name could melt steel, warm, slow, tender. She called him love. Meanwhile, I got the usual, "You're my everything," followed by a distracted kiss. The duality of it made my stomach turn. Then came the legal preparation. I filed for divorce in silence, exploiting clauses that penalized infidelity. She wouldn't see a dime. I shifted our assets, created a trust under my sister's name, and hollowed out our finances on paper. By the time she'd know, it would be too late. But I wasn't done. I created a burner profile, contacted Marcus under the guise of a literary scout. According to their emails, he'd been working on a manuscript, laughable really. I lured him into a business lunch. He arrived dressed for success, every inch the fraud he was. I didn't introduce myself right away, just slid a manila envelope across the table. Inside, photos of them time-stamped. Our marriage certificate. Screenshots. Conversations. His face drained of color. "She said you were out of the picture," he murmured. I smiled. "Not exactly." He stumbled over an apology. I cut him off. Told him if he didn't disappear, I'd unravel everything, from his fake resume to the affairs he tried to keep buried. Within a week, he was gone. For her, I planned something more poetic. One Thursday, she came home to nothing. No sofa. No television. The mattress stripped. Her closet half empty. And in the middle of the dining room table, the suitcase. Open. Exposed. The same one I found. Next to it, divorce papers and a USB drive containing everything. Every lie, every betrayal, every whispered promise meant for someone else. My note was brief. Asterisk, you built a second life. Now live in it. Asterisk. She called me 19 times that night. I didn't answer. Days later, we met in a noisy diner, public, neutral, safe from escalation. She looked like a ghost of herself. Fragile. Pale. Still beautiful, but no longer unshakable. "I never meant to hurt you," she whispered. "I know," I said. "You meant to avoid being caught," she cried. I didn't. I watched her, and then I stood, tucked my coat over my arm, and walked away. The house sold quickly. I moved to a quieter town. Smaller. Simpler. I sleep through the nights now. Not because I've forgiven her, but because I finally saw her clearly. I made her see herself too. She lost me. Lost the comfort, the stability, the illusion she'd so carefully built. Now she's just another person who lied too well for too long, until she couldn't. And me? I'm the man who found the suitcase, cracked open the past, and burned the lies to ash. I didn't just survive. I rebuilt. No remorse. Just clarity. That's my closure.